What's going on, students? I want to welcome you to our summer 2021 semester. Okay. I'm making one video for all of my classes. I'm either teaching history 17A or 17B. 17A/101, because at MJC it's 101, but it's all the same. That's early U.S. history. 17B is later phase of U.S. history. The bottom line is all of my classes are formatted the same. So this video will generally work, not generally, this video will work for every last one of my classes, right? So I just wanted to make sure that I made a welcome video to kind of let you know everything that you needed to know to be successful in my class. First and foremost, I want to tell you, summer school is very condensed. We're in a 6-week class, and I have to get the amount of material in a 6-week phase that I would do in an 18-week phase. It's a lot. So I just want you to know you got to be on top of it. If you are not on top of it, you are going to struggle in this class. It's not going to work for you. You really got to stay on top of it. You got to be focused. And I know this is an online format, but you still got to bring your best. Anyway, with that said, I am your instructor. You should have watched the welcome video. You should have watched the introduction video by now, but you should know already. I'm your instructor. My name is Marvin Jackson. You can call me Professor Jackson, Coach Jackson, Coach, Professor, Mr. Jackson. Any of those work when you send me an email. It's all good, no big deal on any of those. You know, that's just those are the titles basically that I go by, nothing major. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to do some talking. Okay, so when you log in, this is what it's going to look like for you. Okay, you'll see that I have the student lounge. What is the student lounge? It's an area where you can basically post and ask questions amongst the students. If you want me to respond to something that you might have posted in there, you might have to call my attention to it. This is literally the student lounge, and I leave it there for the students. I don't want anything to do with it, but sometimes students might ask something that I can answer. Just send me a notification, say, hey, I asked a question in the course Q&A discussion. Can you please answer it? Or just send me a direct email. Either one of those works. So this is for the students. Then there is the module that you should start with, which is the Start Here module. You'll learn that I've got every week broken down with everything that we have to do inside that week. Okay, so the Start Here module, and I apologize if there's some noise bleeding in. My gardener is here working right now at the moment, edging up my backyard. So, yeah, anyhow, just if you hear that, I apologize. But the bottom line is, you need to start at the Start Here module, okay? And you go through each of these pages. It breaks everything down that you need to know. This is the About Your Instructor. You want to know something about me? Watch that video, okay? These two videos are the most important to me. The welcome video, excuse me, the welcome video, which is what I'm doing right now, is what lets you know how our class breaks down, the course structure, everything you need to know. Okay, that's the welcome video. Then there's a video that a frequently asked question is going to be, do I need a textbook? The answer to the question is absolutely yes, you do. Okay, then we're going to watch the how to register your textbook video. That's going to inform you on all the things you need to know about the textbook, how it works, and what you need to do. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through each of those step-by-step components to register your textbook and how the textbook plays into the class. So that's important that you watch that video. I get more questions about things that I answered in these videos than you would believe. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, hey, I answered that question in the welcome video. Maybe you should go back and watch it. Okay, so you really should watch this video in its entirety because what it does is tell you everything you need to know. I answer a ton of questions. It's the whole class breakdown. Very important you guys understand that. All right, let's go ahead and keep moving. All right, so you go through the Start Here. You'll check out your syllabus, the instructor grading policy, all of that. Netiquette, which just gives you an understanding of how you need to act, student contracts, student support services, all things that matter to you students, okay? So then we get into week 1, and you'll see that I have the whole semester. Everything is laid out. Week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, everything is laid out, okay? Absolutely everything. Now, let me go back to week 1. All right. Okay, where we at? Week 2, week 1. All right. Here's what you need to know. First thing you should always click on in each week is the week 1 module. This is the overview. Okay. When you click on that, it tells you everything that we got going on that week. So even though this is an online class, I've learned in online classes, I have to format it with due dates on a weekly basis because it makes you guys actually do what you're supposed to do. I have to put you on a schedule. When I put you on a schedule, it works for you and it works for me. Okay? So you'll see that essentially I got everything laid out. Monday, we're going to go over the syllabus in the textbook. You're going to do this on the welcome video. Okay? That's what you're doing at this moment. Then you get into Tuesday. Everything's laid out. You got your syllabus quiz is due. So it gives you the day, the activity, meaning where the activity is taking place, the assignment, when it's due, how many points it's worth. Okay, so you'll see that you have on Tuesday on Canvas, you have a syllabus quiz, discussion 1, okay, which is due on the 15th, that Tuesday. Okay, then you have an extra credit opportunity for introductions. You have Pearson Revel, your textbook, which is due that day, chapter 1 lecture, which we'll go over there in a second, and then how to define terms, which is another assignment. So essentially, the whole week is laid out. It's really, really important that you pay attention to this and that you go through this and and check all of these things out. So always, first things first, always just check the overview. It tells you everything that's going to be due that particular week. Okay. Second, go back to this. All the assignments that are due that week are also sitting in the modules. Okay, so you'll notice I in the first week I got the welcome video right here again. Trying to make sure that you watch that, the how to register textbook video. Okay, and let's go through this. And now we got our Unit 1 study guide. Okay, so let me go ahead and click on this so you can get an idea of what this is. Unit 1 study guide. Okay, it says the following terms are to be used as your study guide for the exam. You should define each of these terms as you learned in the discussion video on terms. You do not have to turn these terms in. They are simply your study guide for the exam. So I give you terms that I build the exam off of. Okay, and so I'm going to build the exam off of all of these terms. And so if you define them like I teach you in the discussion on how to define terms, it will greatly help you in your preparation for the exam. Okay, so that's something important that I want you guys to know that you have access to. Then we have an assignment Flipgrid introductions. You guys will log in, click on that, and you just follow the directions, and it's all self-explanatory. You'll notice that anytime you see something that's worth points, you're definitely going to want to get that done. Okay, so discussion 1, syllabus quiz. I won't be able to click on it because the class hasn't started yet, so it won't open that data up for me. But you see it's due on the 14th. Now, the one thing, let me look at you when I say this. Let me go to the big cam. I want you to 100% understand. Every assignment, I have opened every assignment on the first day of class. They are open until their due dates. So if you're a student that got something going on, you need to get ahead, and I highly advise you to get ahead. I opened every assignment with an exception of 4, which are the exams. The exams only open and close on the date that they're due. The exams only open and close on the dates that they're due. Every other assignment that you'll see from week 1 through 6 is open on the first day of class and due on its specified due date. Okay, so I just wanted you to know that, and you can get ahead. That's very important to me that students get ahead. I don't know why they don't. Okay, get ahead. That's what's going to help you with your success in the class because we got a lot going on. Okay, all right. So these are just other things. Just notice I always put Pearson Revel, whatever chapter is due, just to remind you, hey, don't forget that you also have to read the chapter. This is due today, right? So I've always put that in there, just FYI. Okay, and then we get to chapter 1 lecture. So what I expect you to do, I expect you to read the textbook first. Okay, and I have a whole video specified just about the textbook. Okay, you're going to read the textbook, take the quizzes that are tied to the textbook. Then after you do that, I expect you to watch chapter 1 lecture. If you do it in this order, it will give you much greater understanding. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on this. Our class is asynchronous. What that means is we don't meet on Zoom. Okay. I recorded all my lectures, and all you have to do is go watch them. Okay. It's just really that simple. So, all you have to do, literally, you just press play, man, and it's just like I would have gave you the lecture in class. And I'm okay. Welcome to our first lecture, Africa. See, there you have it. So anyhow, you'll see that they're broken down in parts because when I first started recording these, they wouldn't let me do big videos. But now I have, and I'm actually in the process of revamping all of these, making them one video with a bunch of different edits that will be similar to what you saw in this video. I'm just that's my summer project. My summer project is to get all my lectures redone in my 2021 format. Okay, but you watch these lectures, you take notes. That simple. Okay. That way you're prepared. And the reason why you want to watch the lectures is because on the exam, I have lecture questions, which mean questions that come directly from the lecture. Okay. So it is to your advantage to watch the lectures, to take notes, because it'll help you in your preparation for the exam. Very important. Okay. So that's how we do the lectures. That's why we don't meet on Zoom, right? There's just different discussions. When we go over the syllabus, you'll understand some of this a little bit more, but there's discussions that you have to complete. You just click on the assignment, read the directions, and do it. It's really that simple. Sometimes people make things harder than they need to be. It's not. You don't have to do that, okay? It's just that simple. So these are all the things that are due in that particular week. And all you need to know is I have it formatted like this week to week, every week. Every assignment that you need to know about, somebody's going to ask me, hey, on the 14th of July, I got to go somewhere. What are we going to be doing? You don't have to ask me that question. Go look at the calendar. Go look at the week that you're talking about. Go see what's going on. Click on the overview. It tells you everything you need to know. Okay, so I've really put the student in the driver's seat, and I format my classes like this because I really want you to be in control. I don't really want you to have to depend on me. I just want you to do your job. Your job is to do the work. Anything is confusing you, I'll help you. Send me an email. We'll work through it. We'll set up a Zoom meeting if we need to, but just do your job. That's all you gotta do. Okay, so that's how the class is set up. All right, so it's pretty straightforward in my opinion. Now let's go over the syllabus. Okay. So let me click on this here. And of course, this is History 17A, as we stated, U.S. history from pre-colonial to Reconstruction. Okay. Here's the number one way to get in contact with me. You can send a message via Canvas, or you can just email me. Okay. What I want you to do, because you got to understand, I'm teaching 5 classes this summer across 3 different campuses. Write your class name in the subject line, in addition to whatever your whatever your subject is. That way I can place you. I got a lot of students, and it's easier for me to place you when you do that. I really appreciate that if you do. Okay, this is the number one way. You can see you can't call me, right? I don't have no office phone. You can see I don't have an office, so you can't stop by and see me. If you want to contact me, you got to do it via email. Okay, so that's important that you understand that. All right, good. I'm not going to go over all of these little intricate details. That's your job because there's a syllabus quiz, which means you have to read the syllabus and make sure you know what's going on. I'm going to go over the important components, okay, like the textbook. This is our textbook, Pearson Rebel, Visions of America, History of the United States, Volume 1. That's the one that you're going to want, okay? Let's talk about accommodations real quick. If you're a student who has any type of accommodations, all you have to do is send me the email with your accommodations paper from the DSPS offices, so that way I know exactly what it is that I have to do, and then I put that on file. And then that way, once I have it, like say if you're a person who gets extra time on exams, I just go to each exam and I put all your extra time in, and it's all done. I do it as soon as I get the paperwork. Okay, so that's your job. Your job is to show me the paperwork, and that's how you get your accommodations. You can't just come tell me something. You have to have the paperwork. Very important that you understand that. Without the paperwork, I'm not accommodating anything. Okay? All right. Basic sexual misconduct statement. Don't say anything sexist. Don't say anything racist in the platforms and in the forums. Don't do any of those type of things. Not important. And I can just tell you, anything that you say on any of these forums is the school's property. Okay, so once you post it, if they want to go back because a student was offended, then they can. Okay, so just don't do anything like that. All right, here's what matters to you guys: graded assignments. How will this class break down in regards to your workload? Okay, well, it's very simple. We are going to break this down in exams, quizzes, discussions. Okay, exams. We're going to take 4 exams. 4. Okay, 4 exams. Each exam is worth 100 points. Of the 4 exams that we take, I drop your lowest exam. So what counts overall to your overall grade is 3 exams. So you will be scored on 300 points worth of exams for this particular class. You're going to take 4. I'm going to drop the lowest one. So I'm going to take your 3 best performances. Okay? Rebel quizzes. So your textbook is digital. In all caps, it says here, you must absolutely have the digital version of the textbook. Why? Because you will complete scored assignments weekly, and at the end of the semester, the percentage that you have in Rebel, which is between 0 and 100, will be equated to points towards your quiz score and overall grade. Okay? The grade from Rebel will be entered into the grade book after the last Rebel assignment is completed, meaning at the end of the semester. It's going to be tracking all your work throughout the semester, okay, in the textbook. There's going to be quizzes. You have to read every chapter. You're going to read this whole book. And there's quizzes in the book. And then there's chapter quiz reviews. All of it happens through the book. So what I end up doing, and you'll see this in the digital when I do the textbook video, what I do is at the end of the semester, let's say you have an 87% after everything you did in the book for that semester. I take that 87% and I give you 87 out of 100 points. My apologies, I had to take a brief pause to feed my son. Hey, when you're working from home and parenting, man, it can be a task, but it's all good. Okay, I believe I left off basically stating at the end of the semester, I'm going to take the grade that you earn, your percentage, and I'm going to move it over. Okay, so you got to make sure that you have this digital textbook because essentially it's worth 100 points. Okay, it's worth points. You have to take the quizzes in it weekly. Oh, this is important. If you have an excused absence, you can make up a missed quiz within 2 weeks of the assignment of the due date. This is important, and we'll see my late work policy shortly. Oftentimes, students will this is what happens with the textbook. 2 things happen. 1, students say, I didn't know we had a digital textbook when they see me put the Rebel Pearson score in at the end of the semester. And I'm thinking to myself, how did you not know? It's on the syllabus. I quiz you on it in the syllabus quiz. I made a video called How to Register the Textbook. Like, nothing I can do for you. And the second thing that happens is students miss assignments. And then they wait to the end of the semester and say, oh, I missed chapter 2, 3, and 4. Can you reopen them? No. The answer is no. The only way I'm opening anything for you is if you have an excused absence and you have to have it handled within 2 weeks in the date of that the assignment was due. For instance, if the assignment was due today, you missed it. Today is June 12th. You got until the 19th, the 26th. You got until the 26th to hit me with an excused absence, which we're gonna go over what that is in a little bit. And I need to see the absence. Like, it ain't gonna be no like, oh, I was at my cousin's wedding. I didn't excuse absence. You gotta hit me with the paperwork, okay? And then I will open an assignment for you. If you cannot do that, I can't do nothing for you. Okay? So you know now, you know ahead of time. Really important you understand that. All right. Moving forward, the other thing that we have is class discussions. You're going to do 25 discussions. Each discussion is worth 10 points, okay? So that makes it worth 250 points. So total, we got 250, 350, 650 is what the class is worth. Okay, this is the breakdown. I forgot we have the plus minuses at Delta, so I'll add the plus minuses for Delta, but at Merced and MJC, we just have the regular. We don't have to worry about plus minuses, okay? All right, good. You need to go over your student responsibility. Let's start at the top. Number 1, unexcused absences during the first three class meetings may result in you being dropped from the course. Any student that does not complete the first 3 assignments will be considered a non-participant and will be dropped from the class. And I do that because this is an online format. So if you don't do the first 3 assignments, I realize that you don't really want to be in the class. I'm dropping you. It's that simple. Okay. And I do a roll call that also confirms whether you want to be in the class or not. Number 2, student absences that exceed 6 hours of class time prior to the 3rd week of class may result in you being dropped. Okay. So that means any student not completing 6 assignments in a row. You don't do 6 assignments in a row, is telling me that you're not participating in class. I'm dropping you. If you decide that you do not want to continue the course, it is your responsibility to drop the course. All students who are on the roster at the end of the semester will be issued a grade. At the end of the day, it is your job to manage your schedule, not mine. I might miss that you not handling your business. Things come up in my life, and I might get busy and be like, "Oh, I didn't even realize a student missed." Well, anyway, when it's all said and done, in this semester, if you're on my roster, whether you did the work or not, I got to give you a grade. So I highly recommend it. If you're not going to be in this class, you think it's too much, whatever, drop. That's the smart thing to do. All right. Should you miss an assignment, the only way you will be able to complete the assignment for full credit is if you have a what? An excused absence. What are excused absences? Number 1, okay? If you are sick, not, hey, Mr. Jackson, I was throwing up yesterday. All right. You have to be sick as in you went to the doctor, okay? You have to have a doctor's note for any kind of sickness, ailment that you may be claiming. And I ain't talking about just like the flu type of sick. It could be you might have some anxiety issues, whatever it may be. And that particular day assignment was due and you had an episode. Okay, I need paperwork. If you don't show me a doctor's note, I'm not budging. I'm just telling you now. And it's not to be rude or to be mean, but what this does is it prevents students from having to create lie after lie. Like the most infamous lie, which is the next excuse absence, is a immediate death in the family. The key word is immediate. Okay? People's grandmas die all the time when an exam is due. It's unbelievable. I couldn't tell you, man. I feel bad for grandmas when I give an exam because they die all the time. Okay? If you have an immediate death in the family, don't take this personal. I'm going to ask you to show me one of 3 things to verify it. 1, the obituary. Okay? The obituary will tell me exactly when that person died. I'll know if it's legit. 2, the death certificate. Okay, if it's an immediate family member, if it's really like brother, cousin, mom, you can get that information. You have to show me that. Or 3, a newspaper clipping announcing that the person has, of course, passed on. Okay, those are one of the 3 ways that you can prove to me that someone died. If you say somebody died, I'm just gonna say, hey, listen, I apologize and I'm sorry for your loss, but you have to show me something. I cannot take your word for it. I have been lied to way too many times. I can't take your word for it. I apologize. I had one student, and this is when I changed my policy. I had one student who took my class, like, let's just say in 2015. And his grandma passed away. And that same year, my grandma had passed away. So it was like really heartfelt. I was like, oh man, my grandma, she was a huge influence on my life. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Don't worry, you can make these assignments up. Okay? So he took my class in 2017, a couple years later. And lo and behold, his grandma passed away again. So I remembered that. So I was like, wait a minute. We all got 2 grandmas. So I'm like, okay, let me ask some questions. So I'm like, hey, man, yeah, sorry to hear that, man. Your grandma passed, man. He was like, yeah, man. Like, man, which one was this? What's her name again? He said the same grandma. I said, bro, you told me this grandma died 2 years ago. You think I didn't remember that? So you over here playing, you was trying to manipulate me, man. And so I didn't let him turn them assignments in. So my whole point is grandmas seem to die when papers is due and exams is due. So if anybody died, you will have to verify it, man. And I apologize. And this has happened. So if this happens to you, don't take it personal. And I even said in the email, I said, hey, please don't take this personal. I talked about this in the welcome video. If somebody passed on, you got to show me some kind of paperwork. And people usually that are being serious, are legit, they can show the paperwork. They usually show the obituary. I just look at the dates and I say, okay, that adds up. Cool, man. You can do the assignments. Okay. That's the second excused absence. So we got a medical excused absence by a doctor, not you diagnosing yourself, but by a doctor. We got a death in the family with backed up with an obituary, death certificate, or newspaper clipping stating death. Third excused absence. If you ever get called in on jury duty, which this don't matter in our class because our class is online, but if this is a traditional class and you miss something, you got to show me your jury work summons and jury duty paper summons, and I'll let you make up the assignments. Number 4, if you are in the military, the reserves, first responder, meaning officer, fire department, ambulance. If you're in any of those sectors that I just named and you get sent away to do work on duty or to do work during an assignment, if you miss it, you can make that up. Of course, you're going to have to show me the paperwork. You ain't going to just tell me anything. Paperwork verifies everything for me. Okay, just so you know. Okay, we said doctor, jury duty, death in the family, military personnel. Last one, if you are a student athlete of any type, or if you're on the speech team, any of that, and you guys have an event on the day an assignment is due, and you don't get it in on time, you can use that event as an excused absence. I'm going to ask for 2 things. I want to see the schedule, and then I'm going to contact your coach to find out if you actually went to that game. Because sometimes students be on the team, but they don't actually compete, and then they don't go to a game, but they use the game as an insurance policy. Not going to happen with me. Okay, I'm going to verify everything. Here's what you need to learn. Let me go ahead and make the screen big. I verify everything through paperwork. You can't just say something to me, ain't going to work. Okay? Shoot it straight, and I'll shoot it straight back to you. But you're not going to just give me some old bogus information and think that there's not going for it. Okay? Very important that you guys notate that. As long as you get that, you're going to be fine. Okay? That means get your stuff in on time. So if you do miss an assignment and it's excused, then you got a 2-week period from the date of the due date. Okay? 2-week period to get the paperwork to show me, and then I will let you recomplete that assignment for full credit. If you can't do that, then you just missed your window. And the reason why there's a 2-week period, go ahead and make this big here, is because sometimes students like to come to me at the end of the semester with a boo-hoo story of why they didn't do X, Y, and Z in weeks, let's say 2 through 3. And now they want me to reopen all of that. And unfortunately, I don't have time to do all of that. So I'll give you a 2-week grace period. Okay? But that's it. That's where the line is drawn. You really need to stay on top of your information. Stay on top of what you need to do. Okay? All right, good. Let's see, is there anything else that I need to talk about? Okay. I have to get these dates. I don't remember these dates. I'll get these dates though and add them into the deal. But that pretty much is how the class is structured, man. That's how the class is structured. The common questions I get is, what are the exams like? So let me go ahead and click on. I want you guys to know, man. I told you we are jamming. This is, look. We got week 1, all these assignments. At the end of week 2, you got your exam 1. Okay, and it's usually going to be broken down, just for those of you who like to know, in 4 to 5 parts. There's going to be an essay. There's going to be term response, and there's going to be multiple choice questions. There's going to be matching questions and lecture questions. So that's usually how they format. And so yeah, I prep you guys as we go into it, but just so you know, that's how the exams are formatted. Then you'll see from that point on, we're taking an exam a week. At the end of week 3, we got an exam. We're going to do a whole unit in a week. End of week 4, exam. Okay. Then on week 5, we're going to finish all the assignments. And then we go to week 6. Oh, I didn't publish week 6. I got to publish week 6. Then we go to week 6, and then we have the final. Okay, so, excuse me. So let me actually publish that before I forget. So that's how this all breaks down, man. And it's really important that you guys stay on top, that you do all the things that you're supposed to do. I apologize. I'm just doing this before I forget. Publishing week 6. There it is. Now it's published. Okay. But yeah, it's really important that you guys recognize all of that, that you do what you're supposed to be doing, and just understand that it's going to be a lot. Okay. So that pretty much, let me go to this version, wraps up the class structure. If I didn't answer your question in this video, shoot another question via email. But if it's something that I know that I answered, I'm going to tell you go back and watch that video. I don't like repeating myself, especially when I made a video for it. Okay? All right. Let's get after it. I'll see you guys at the finish line.